Hi Junior Church. This week I'm going to do a quick demonstration for an activity for the older kids. And this is, so if you have some threads in your activity pack, this video is for you. So I'm going to show you how to make a friendship bracelet with the threads you have following along this instruction leaflet. But I'm just going to do a demonstration to make it a bit easier to follow and to make. So per bracelet you want 4 threads. So we have 3 kind of orangey ones in our packs for the lions and 1 blue one for Daniel, from our story of Daniel and the Lions Den this week. And to start off, what you want to do is just gather them together at the top so they're about all the same length, and just tie a knot in the top so they all attach together. So just pull that through, tie a knot like that. So now they're all together, and that's going to be the top of your bracelet. Now, because you're going to be pulling on the threads, it's quite good to tape the end down. So if you have any tape, just tape it down to something, or if you have someone else to help you, they can hold the end while you do it, but I'm just going to tape it down. So now that it's taped down, what you're going to want to do is just basically separate your threads into the way they kind of naturally land, so they're like in a row like that. And then you're going to take your first thread, so my orange one here is the one that naturally comes first. I'm going to put it, so we get rid of these 2. So this is thread 1. Thread 1 goes over thread 2 like that. So you make a little, it kind of looks like a 4, it's probably upside down for you. And then we pick up thread 2 and go under and pull it through. And then we pull that to the top to make our first knot. And then we're going to do that again with the same thread 1 over thread 2. So it goes over to make the 4, and then under and pull through the loop to make a knot. And when you do the knot at the top, you want to do it tight enough so it feels secure, but not too tight not too loose that it's like not too tight that it disappears, sorry. So then once you've done 2 knots on your second thread, you can move thread number 2 away and keep thread number 1. For this whole row, we're going to make our knots with thread number 1. So my thread number 3 is this blue thread, and we're just going to do the exact same method that we did on our second thread over our third thread. So this is my first thread still that I'm using to make the knots, just over my third thread. So we go over the thread and pull it under through the loop, and then pull it up to the top. And you do that twice per thread. So now we're on to our last and 4th thread, and we're still using thread number 1 to make the knots at this point. So we go over the thread and pull it under and through, and then we go over, under and through, and we pull that up. So now you can see we have our first line of the thread, of the bracelet, sorry. Okay, so now what was our first thread has become our 4th thread. Our 4th has become our 3rd has become our 2nd, and our 2nd is now our 1st thread. You can probably guess what we'll do now. So we take our new first thread, which is the yellow, and we go over our new 2nd thread and under. So we're just repeating the knots that we did with the first thread, now with our 2nd thread. Then we move that along, go over, under, over, under. And then we move that along, over, under, over, under. So then this thread is now our end thread, as you can see, and we have another line of knots for our bracelet. And then the first thread is now our blue thread. So we go over, under, over, under, and then make it nice and secure. So you basically just, once you've got the hang of it, repeat over each thread and do 2 knots each time. Make sure you do 2 knots, and then you get your next line. And then the blue thread again is now our last thread, and this thread, which is when we started, our end thread has now moved to be our first thread. So then we go over, under, across all our threads, and then after this one, basically you just continue doing this until you have a length long enough to go around your wrist. So there's the start of the bracelet. It's really simple. Once you get the hang of it, you might just need to practice a bit. It doesn't matter if the first few lines don't look too neat, because it is a bit tricky to get the hang of. So just keep doing that until you get a nice long length, and then you can just tie it at the end and then use the 2 ends to tie it around your wrist. So I hope that made sense and that you can make your bracelets and enjoy making them, and one of you will have this one that's been started in your pack. So if you do make them, please send us a photo so we can see